welcome back to my podcast, Season 2 of The Good, The Bad, and The Future. Today I'm joined with the local fashion designer, Devin Michaels, talking about the fashion industry and how he became so successful. Hope you all had an amazing start to your week. Let's get right into it. So how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? And
I'm
thank
really
you for
good.
saying very successful. I'm on my way, but I'll take it for now.
But you are, so
Thank you.
in my eyes, so that's okay. But who is Devin Michaels? Like, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yep, the good old backstory. I'm from Toronto, just outside Toronto.
Okay, born and raised.
Yeah, my family's from Europe, like born in Denmark.
Oh, wow.
But so that's kind of where my fashion kind of comes from.
Yeah.
From my grandpa, we call him Mofa. He's
Okay.
very into fashion. He gave me like silk, like pocket squares for my birthday growing up. So I was always just trying to dress like him. I have a brother that's 10 years older.
Okay.
So I grew up kind of watching him grow up, and then I kind of like adapted myself around that. So I'm just outside Toronto, live downtown now, and traveled for a while, and here I am.
Okay, so is your grandpa maybe one of your inspos? Fashion
100%,
inspos?
yeah, 100%. So he's more of a suit kind of guy. I don't really
Okay.
rock suits too much,
Okay.
but he's a business guy.
But he'd help you out with that if you ever needed help.
Oh yeah, he knows the color coordinations and stuff.
Does he ever wear in your pieces and stuff?
No, I should
No?
get it to him.
You should. You really should. If he's giving you pocket squares, you need to
Yeah,
give
I
him
know
a
I gotta
little
give him
something
back some,
Yeah.
but I think my stuff's worth a little bit less than what he was giving
That's
me.
okay.
So it's not the count.
Yeah, it is. It is. So how did you kind of get into like the whole fashion thing? I know you said he's kind of like someone that inspired you, but like, how did you get into the whole fashion industry?
My brother, he's 10 years older, he's very artistic.
Okay.
And then I kind of just played sports my whole life. I played piano growing up.
Okay.
I'm very social, and I just like to I have ADD, so
Okay.
I really like to kind of do everything all at once. And I always say like fashion's in the middle of everything.
Uh-huh.
So it's like I can kind of hit all the markets that I wanted to be
Yeah.
with that. It's like I want to be a DJ, I want to be an astronaut, you name it, I want to be it.
Yeah.
And fashion kind of puts it in the middle, so I'm kind of gateway.
So how did you like figure out how to do everything to even make a brand? Like, how do you start that? How do you I would love to know.
Yeah, I actually had no training. YouTube taught me pretty well.
And
That
you
was kind of my
made
school.
your stuff yourself?
So I sourced all the fabric. So I
Okay.
traveled in Asia for a little while.
You traveled in Asia?
Yeah.
When was that?
It was like probably 4 years ago now.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah.
By yourself?
Yeah, I was there working a little bit. So I was there in Beijing, China for a little bit,
Okay,
and in
wow.
Thailand.
Wow.
And then while I was there, I was working, but I was also doing like my own kind of thing, like
Mm-hmm.
networking and meeting these factories and all these type of
Which
people.
is exactly what you need to do.
Yes, especially like translating and all
Mm-hmm.
that kind of good stuff. So I ended up getting the idea when I was kind of traveling, and then when I came back, I really buckled down, got a job in fashion for a Canadian company based out of Italy though.
Okay.
And then I ended up getting a job with Christian Loboutin for,
Okay.
what was it? I guess
Main
that's
job?
3 years ago now.
Yeah?
So
So what were you doing there?
So I was actually just doing sales there, but the main reason I took that on was one, I wanted to learn behind the scenes.
And see how they did it and like
Because they
what.
actually show you a lot. Which
Really?
Is, yeah,
How much did they show you?
everything. So they actually give you they're an open door. So they would fly us over to New York. They would tell us like how Christian designs stuff. He's a big storyteller. It's actually really
Did
cool.
you meet him?
I did not, no.
Okay.
But apparently he's a great little guy.
But you're close enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
Yeah, he's apparently a great guy, but he's a big storyteller. So I've actually carried that on to a lot of my stuff, where I try to kind of come up with stories for my designs. I found it also a lot easier. And then I did that job to network. So that's where I met all the athletes, the big time like businessmen,
Yeah.
all these type of people. Mostly the athletes is what I was trying to get into.
Yeah.
Met those guys, became friends with those guys.
Why
and kind of
athletes?
gave my way. I love sports, and it's also like the tunnels of the new runway right now. So
Yeah,
it's like,
for sure.
If you can get them on certain athletes, it helps. Not all of it doesn't change your label overnight, but it definitely helps.
And they probably speak of it to their friends, to people they're
Exactly.
around, and they even see friends see them
Yeah.
wearing it. Like,
Hopefully.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
So how do you kind of like promote yourself? Like, do you use social media and all that, or what's your kind of go-to for like getting your stuff out there?
Right now it's probably word of mouth, which is a good thing to start off with. And I think you kind of need to build a foundation first before you start doing the social media stuff.
Yeah.
But social media does help with foundation obviously as well, getting your name out there to people that would never see it.
Yeah.
Something I definitely need to step my game up on, and I'm working on it. It's just so there's
It's
new
hard to do
things.
everything at the same time, you know?
Yeah, and there's so many things like a new trends, new this. I'm like, I gotta figure this out. It's
It
a
really
full-time
is
job.
a full-time job.
Yeah,
Like
so-
you have to stay up to date on the TikTok, the Instagram,
exactly.
this, that, yeah.
So I guess that's why there's content creators for full-time jobs.
Exactly. Have you
I'll
ever
probably get one.
collaborated with them, or what's the?
I try to stay away from too many like creators because I'm trying to stay away from being an Instagram brand is what
Yeah.
I guess you're gonna call it.
Yep.
But even the big brands are kind of going on to TikTok now, so I think TikTok's kind of more the way.
Yeah.
Just because people like visuals, they like videos over pictures. It's
Even
proven.
like the behind the scenes or how people see, like even your whole story. Like you could do like a
Yeah.
quick cap of like your traveling and what inspired you and you working for certain people, like that would be cool to see too. I feel like people would really like the story because you don't hear that every day. I was like, okay, like maybe he went to school. I had no idea what your backstory was. So I was like, maybe he went to school, maybe he just started it through something, but like you just learned from the ground up by yourself. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, I went to school for sports management, hence the sports stuff. But
here in Toronto?
Yeah, George Brown, but 6 months. Like I went and I dropped out of all the classes. Like they gave me my money back.
You're like, I'm a creative. This isn't for me.
No.
I'm not doing the whole test thing.
So I ended up traveling, dropped out of college, and then traveled a little bit. So I guess I always say that it sounds so corny, but the world was my college.
Yeah.
So it was the first time living on my own, like traveling. I didn't go to like residence or anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good experience. And then I bring a lot of my travels and inspiration into my designs if I can, where I find I can.
What's your inspiration for like your designs? Like, do you have? You say you want to make stories of all of them. Like, how did that kind of come to be? And how do you what's even like your bestseller?
So I'll probably say that's what I'm still working on, is like where I'm trying to find what I really, really want to be. That's the hardest part I find about becoming a brand, is like finding your brand. But I definitely want to do like a more upscale, vintage feel, vintage fit.
Yours is very vintage.
That's
street style vintage.
That's what I'm trying to do, but like kind of like, I don't know, elevate it a little bit. I used to collect vintage. I still do it for fun, but I used to do it during COVID. I was kind of like my side hustle was collecting vintage and reselling it.
Oh really?
So yeah, I used to do that for the athletes and stuff. My label, the vintage, everything was going really well, and then this apparently virus came around that everyone knows. I'm not going to drop the word. It came
it's a bad
around.
word.
Exactly,
the
C word is what they call it. So then that kind of slowed everything down. Now I'm starting to pick everything back up. I had to find a new manufacturer, so I found actually a better one. So it's just kind of had to start from point A again, which was kind of fun actually, because I kind of knew what I was doing this
rebranding
time.
almost.
Yeah,
to get to try everything again.
Yeah.
And you said your label, the vintage.
So I did like the vintage athletic wear is what I'm kind of going for.
Okay.
So all my pieces are based off of old vintage fit and feel. So I find like my favorite vintage shirt, get the measurements of it, and I'll kind of make minor adjustments.
Okay.
And I'll get like a higher quality cotton than they used and bring it into my own designs.
And do you have anyone that you kind of look up to that's kind of the same style as you, or are you just like, no, whatever I'm like thinking, I'm just
honestly, it's just kind of my head's all over the place. Like I said, I have ADD, so I can't even focus on one thing. I have a million designs, I just don't have $1 million.
Do you do like mood boards, or how do you keep track of all your thoughts?
I draw it down. I'm very like old school. I do sketches, like pencil, and then color it in, just to keep an idea. But I'll take screenshots of stuff, and then I have like mood boards. Not like a Pinterest or anything like that, but like my own like album on my phone.
Yeah, I'll do that too all the time.
Yeah.
Even if it's for like a night out, what do I kind of want to do today?
I do that. I probably should do that.
It's easy.
I don't, but I should.
It's easy, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, right on, like you can literally do anything. Like you can have an album on Pinterest, you can have an album on your phone, and it's like people are like, okay, people even ask me, how do I figure out like what to pack or what to do for this or what I want to wear here? I'm like, just literally see what you like, go for a walk, like get inspired by people or what you want as your style for the summer or whatever. Get inspired, take pictures, find pictures online that you, even if you're scrolling through something, take a screenshot of it and put it to that board that you want, and then you can go back in it and get that inspiration.
Exactly. That's the perk of social media these days. You have the access to all these like fashion stuff. Like when I was in elementary school, I looked like an absolute goof, but that's only because that's the best thing I knew. It's all I knew.
So did I. I was like, how do I stand out?
The floods back in the day, it was like, because no one ever taught us better. That's what we thought everyone wore, but we didn't have Instagram or social media to see.
It was like, what's right beside you, and then the next day you'll show up, look at the same
like
someone
wearing
that
the same Gap sweater my buddy was wearing just because I like the color.
Like, can I borrow that for tomorrow?
Exactly.
Perfect. But yeah, so what's your next kind of 5-year goal then? You said that you're taking this, like you're doing it right now all over again.
Yeah, I don't do 5-year goals. I don't do any of that stuff.
So what do you do?
I kind of go with the flow.
Yeah.
I'm very good on my feet. I like to go with it. But I'm definitely trying to grow the brand. Like I think summer is probably gonna be my biggest like release, I guess I've done so well. So I'm taking more of like a risk and ordering more pieces, more fabrics, all this type of good stuff. Because I found a factory that I really like, so I'm kind of going in on that.
How did you go about finding the factory?
So I used a middleman that I knew from traveling in Asia a little bit, and then they kind of introduced me, and then it kind of worked out. I got samples from a bunch of factories, and then I just picked the best one.
So you really just meet people and then take from them, take inspiration, listen, and then keep going.
That's all you gotta do.
And it's
put your own spin on it.
Yeah, put your own spin on it. And I feel like a lot of brands are now doing trying to mimic the designer brand, so it is really nice to hear when people are doing their own thing and actually being creative with it, because there's so much fast fashion that people are probably just ripping off and using cheaper materials from places that do it for so cheap.
Exactly.
So you gotta respect the people that don't.
And a lot of like creators and stuff will just kind of not merch, but they'll get like a blank and then they'll just screen print something on it. It's not a brand. I respect it. I get it. You're doing your market. I get it. But it's not a brand, and that's why everyone says, everything's so saturated. It's not. It's really not.
And it's repetitive.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, like, you said you traveled. Are you thinking of traveling again? Like, do you do that often for just if you feel you need some inspo? Like,
you know what? I would love to. And now that COVID's kind of, sorry I said the word, it's kind of going away. So I'm able to travel a little bit. It makes up a cut, but I can go out a little bit more. One thing I learned about Christian is whenever he's designing something cold, he goes to a cold climate. Something warm, he'll go to somewhere warm where he has like a house in Portugal or something. So he goes like warmer climates. It's very hard to kind of put your mindset in cold to warm, right?
And especially today, get out of here, go somewhere else. Like now you're like, okay, now I need to go. It's snowing. What the hell? But
yeah, today's not a good day.
No, not a good day for inspo.
No,
you can't.
Not at all. Maybe next year winter.
Yeah.
You do have to plan way ahead. So actually, it's kind of a good day for that.
So you said you're kind of an extrovert. Do you go out like if you're feeling like you're not that inspired? How do you kind of like find that again?
Social media, but I also go for a lot of walks. I look at a lot of girls' fashion.
Okay.
I prefer women's fashion, to be honest. It's just I have better connections and it's easier for me to market myself because I wear men's fashion. I'm trying to sneak into like the unisex kind of world, which is it's already kind of there. It already exists.
Like genderless.
Yeah.
Like making
so like
stuff
oversized stuff, like oversized crew necks and sweaters. It's almost like you're stealing your boyfriend's sweater.
Yeah.
That kind of.
I feel like that's so trendy right now. So that's
Princess
exactly.
Diana kind of look there. So I'm trying to get in there. But girls know what they're doing. They know how to accessorize and they wear colors together that guys would never wear together.
And I feel like some guys are probably just more like, oh, like I can't do it if it's too much, you know?
Exactly.
And yeah,
they're so scared. Especially in Toronto, they're kind of a little setback.
I feel like
it's maybe a little bit different.
Yeah, I go out and I'm like, okay, you're all wearing the exact same thing. Like, which one's which? Yeah. It's like it's a twin because they're wearing the exact same thing. I think it's right now what I see most is like the vest over top of a hoodie, and I'm like, okay. So that's what they're doing now.
They're spicing it up. That's not bad.
Yeah. From just the designer tee down in Toronto. Yeah, I kind of do the same. Like when I go out, if I'm not feeling inspired, I'm such an extrovert, so I get my energy from other people too. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go to a cafe, or I'm just gonna go have a drink with a friend and just like look around and see people, or like walks. Like it's so inspiring because that's really where you're gonna get it. You're not gonna get it sitting like of course social media, but to see it. And like Toronto's our oyster. Like I guess Canada isn't as good as like the US and Europe and stuff. Well, it is, but in a different way.
Exactly.
But that's really what I find best too.
Yeah.
Do you think that Canada kind of holds you back from doing? Yeah.
I belong, and I wish I lived in LA. That's where I belong. I was a little kid. I had bleached blonde hair, blonde down there. I had the pearls. I still have pearls, I guess, but not those ones. The shells. So I definitely want to get
like
down
a surf
there.
boy.
To the T. Yeah. Minus the tan, but I went to LA a few years ago and I absolutely loved it. It's like one place I actually never felt like I felt like I'm at home, which is very odd to feel. So I definitely want to get over to the States more, bigger market, more things to do.
Yeah, for sure.
And then there's a lot of vintage over there, and
there is.
It's one thing I do for inspo as well. I'll just go to like a vintage store, and I'll just shop through and then pick like designs, colors I like, fits, fabrics, all the good stuff. So vintage is probably like my biggest inspo for anything.
So why else LA? Why did you feel so at home there? Was it just the fashion, or was it like...
Fashion was cool. Actually, fashion's alright. New York's better for fashion-wise, but LA, just like the vibe of it. I like the more relaxed. I love palm trees. I love the beach.
Yeah.
Water is a huge thing for me. If I need to be near water. Like my condo, it needs to look at water. I don't care if it's like a 400 square foot condo. If I look at water, I'm happy. It's kind of that kind of vibe.
Yep. So what's a day in your life then? Take us through a day in your
coffee.
life. Yeah.
Probably the same as everybody's. And I also have a real job as well, like a 9 to 5. Not 9 to 5, not 9 to 5 hours, but like a 9 to 5 job. So I do that, which helps fund everything that I'm doing, traveling, rent, all the good stuff. And then I usually work that till about 6, 7, or 8 o'clock. And then I do my designs depending on the time of year, because they're overseas, so they are about 12 hours ahead or behind. I forget which one it is, but they're up when they're waking up when we're going to bed. Okay. So I kind of have to stay up late. Usually, right now I'm just waiting for like samples and pieces to come in, so it's not as like I don't need to be up too late. Yeah. But like when I'm sending in all the samples, right, and sending the designs, it's like 4 in the morning.
And do you do that all yourself, or do you have help with
No, it's
design
a
stuff?
one-man team here.
All yourself.
Yeah,
Would you
yes.
even trust anyone or like collab with people?
I would like to, maybe down the road, but right now I'm kind of learning everything my own, and I find that's how I get the most information. So
And it's
a
all
one-man
you.
team. Literally everything is
The
packing,
Devin
the
Michael
orders,
brand is
everything.
all Devin Michael.
Exactly. So I was like, when I was thinking of a name, I was like, I'm just gonna make it my name because like then I have to do well.
Yeah.
And I really am the only person right now. So eventually I'll grow. I definitely have people I can bring on. It's just right now, like it's kind of fun. I like it.
And it's totally you. Like if it's from start to finish, your thoughts, your everything, like I'd be so proud of myself. Like, heck, if I had a brand too, I feel like I'd name it my name too, because you want it to be exactly what you're portraying and stuff. So what's your like story? So like, what if you were pitching yourself in an elevator, someone, what would you say?
I would just say I'm somebody that's really well traveled and has had a lot of experience when it comes to design and different like cultures. Somebody that's able to bring vintage quality fit and feel right to like your doorstep, as cheesy as that sounds. But I want you to put on something brand new that you've already felt like you've owned it for a few years.
And when would you kind of know that you made it? Like, what would be your?
I don't think there's
at
that point.
If someone special wore your thing, or someone totally famous, or you made this much money, what was?
I think it's when I'm just doing it like full time and I'm able to give people jobs and just like have a cool environment. Like I think not a 5-year side. I don't really have a 5-year plan, but eventually I'd like to have like a kind of like a studio or have some people that work together. And then just kind of like have a good time, basketball net in there, and just have a good vibe, and that's me like
just
that kind of thing. Like that's what I know I'll kind of make it is when I'm like comfortable and have my own kind of office kind of thing.
And do it 24/7.
Yeah, but there's no one I really like think if somebody wore it. I don't think I would really. I have some big. I'm not gonna name dropping people obviously, but like I have some.
Manifest it, put it in the air.
But I definitely have some big people with my my clothes. It doesn't change too much, really.
It's just nice to see that people appreciate your design.
It's nice when they actually wear it a lot more than they wear like their designer stuff, and that's when I'm like, that's kind of cool to see because I know the quality's there. But other than that,
so why don't you like social media or use it as much? Like, what's your kind of take on the whole thing?
I think it's just me being like an ex-athlete kind of thing, like playing hockey my whole life and stuff. I've kind of been
Where
turned
did you
off.
play for?
I played for all over, mostly Toronto though, North York, Toronto, Markham, where I'm from. I think social media is kind of like a weird thing for us. I'm not at that age where it wasn't really there yet, so I'm just kind of learning into it now. I've kind of realized I just need to suck it up and do it at this point, but that was definitely a barrier there in front of me. So that's probably the main reason.
Because if you don't love it, you're not going to want to consume yourself in it all the time, right?
I also have crazy OCD, so it's like if it's not perfect, I don't want to post it. And I realize that it doesn't need to be perfect at all. It's actually better if it's not.
It's more authentic.
But for me, it's like I need it to be top tier, like Michael Bay film.
So you do have good pictures of your products and stuff online. Did you have photo shoots with your stuff, or who do you?
That's all through me.
Through you? Good for you. You are a man of many talents.
Set up at home.
Okay.
And then I got the little studio set up. I got a ring light, and then I got my iPhone. It's only on my iPhone right now. I want to get. It's not bad actually. And then
it looks. I thought you had a full photo shoot.
People
of
always
it.
ask, and then Facetune. Not just for your face. It is actually good.
No, it is.
You can smooth out like the wrinkles and kind of edit like if the lines are a little off, you can fix it there. And then I just edited some apps and figuring out like how to get rid of the backgrounds and add different colors.
Yeah, I use, because for when I went to school we had to do like a photography class, and we had to use Adobe. So if you're thinking of a good one,
I'm
Adobe.
trying to learn it. I'm teaching it myself.
Yeah, it's hard. Procreate's good. But they're all like, there's so many little things to do on it, so it's really hard to learn them all, but there's like tips and tricks with all of them, so I'll help you out with that.
Please.
I'll give you a tip. But no, you're doing pretty well if that's what it is. So so that's your studio, as in like your house, you've transformed it into like your
moved the couch over and we got a little studio there.
Okay.
So everything's kind of hidden up, but I did make do with what I got. So it's only I like doing it. It's fun. So it's kind of cool. Like I said, though, I have OCD, so it gets to me. I'll take like 1,000 photos, and it takes me forever to pick the right one.
Oh, for sure. And that's like, I think the biggest thing that I even got over with social media and stuff, because for me it was like I collaborate with brands and stuff, and I wanted it to be the best picture, or even any picture that I post on social media. I was like, I need to look the best ever for this to go up and like people to see it. But now I think it's just this year, I'm like, who cares? Like, I am who I am, and these brands are wanting me to create content for them for a certain reason. So why not just showcase myself and treat it as like a journal, or like even for you, like journey through the brand rather than like the perfect thing. But I totally see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And social media is a lot to jump straight into.
It is. I think probably within the next year I'll hire somebody to kind of do it.
Yeah.
Like professional flat lays, like those where it actually looks really good.
Yeah.
Because my stuff's not expensive, but it's not cheap, I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't want it to be like, I don't want cheap photos.
Especially if it's like all vintage and everything, like you want your quality is definitely as good as like what you're trying to, you know, put out and showcase. You need to show that,
Exactly.
and a random picture isn't
Exactly.
gonna do it
My
justice.
phone's not cutting it as
Yeah.
much, so I am gonna eventually get like a studio kind of thing. There's a couple companies and like I could send it out to New York and they'll do it.
Yeah.
There's nothing really in Toronto. That's one thing that's also very limited.
I feel like it's
Resources
harder.
are pretty bad.
Yeah. How did you even find someone in New York?
Just through actually a guy on TikTok, I messaged him. He has a company.
Okay.
He has his own like fashion label, and he had a good product lay photo. And I was like, "Hey, where did you get
Okay.
that done?" And he's like, "Gave you their number."
Yeah.
It's this little studio. It's like online, so you can send it to them, and they just pay them online. It's
Oh,
actually
really?
cool. Yeah.
I didn't even know that existed.
It's neither did I.
Yeah, but everything now, like you could
It's
get
incredible.
you could even get a social media manager to handle that side of it, and then send it out to New York, have someone else do that. Like,
That's the plan eventually, is to kind of have like not an assistant. I hate to say that word, assistant,
But
somebody that helps me.
oh, for sure,
So-
for sure, because doing everything you're doing right now is a lot. Like that's good for you. Like
Yeah.
that's very.
Yeah, no one really sees it, which
No.
so it's
But
it's
they
cool. I
could
just-
if you made TikToks of it
I
and
know,
just
I
put it
know,
out there,
I
like
know, I know.
quick clip here and there,
I
and the
know.
whole 7 seconds. Like TikTok is trending, so if it was 7-second video, you could just pop off. You never know.
Yeah, I know that's the thing, right? One video can actually kind of
Literally. So where's your next trip for your inspo then?
Probably New York, just because it's really close by.
Uh-huh.
And then I'll probably go to LA.
Back to where you feel at home.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
For how long? How long are you?
I would like to go for a few weeks,
Uh-huh.
but I have to book off time off work and stuff,
Yeah, of
obviously,
course.
too. So probably a few weeks, though. I'd probably go New York maybe first and then go to LA.
And when did you go to your whole Asia and whatever? Was that like a long time ago, or when was?
6 years. 6 years ago was when I started. So
Uh-huh.
I lived in Italy for a month, and then I lived in Thailand, and then I lived in China, and I lived in Australia for a year.
That is so interesting.
Yeah,
So
a lot of
you've seen it
stuff.
all.
I literally have seen like all
And
the fashion brands, trends,
Was that
whatever.
before you started your own brand, or?
Yeah, that was all. Like I started the brand probably, I did it for fun, like a few years ago, just a couple pieces just to see, and just to do it as a hobby. And I've probably taken it more seriously, probably in the past, honestly, like a year and a half is probably when it's been really going, like just probably about 6 months before the C word came in.
Okay, yeah.
And then
Perfect timing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then so now I'm like back at it.
And if you asked like your close friends or family if they saw it coming that you were gonna start your own fashion brand, what would they say?
Definitely not my parents. Maybe my parents, but maybe not. Just because my head's, like I said, is all over the place. So
Yeah.
like they probably think I'm still trying to figure out what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame them.
Yeah.
But probably I guess my parents, my brother definitely knew I was a little artistic. They used to try and draw whatever he was doing. My grandpa loves it, obviously, because fashion for some reason he just loved it. He gives me Harry Rosen magazines every time he can.
Oh my God, no way.
You name it,
That's
he
amazing.
just loves it. So probably my friends, I guess so. Yeah. Probably my
Do they wear your
friends.
stuff? Do they support?
Some of them. Yeah.
And you said is your brother a designer, or
No,
what was
he's
he
actually,
into fashion? Or
He's a real estate agent. Actually.
Okay.
So he's 10 years older than me. So I just grew up also admiring the 90s because he was very 90s. In the high school, he had like the spiked hair, crew necks, and everything.
Okay.
It's basically how we dress now.
Yeah.
And I've just never kind of changed my style.
Everything kind of comes back, I
It does.
think. So keep whatever you got. Keep his stuff. Tell him to give
Yeah.
whatever he had before back
Exactly.
down to you. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the whole kind of fashion aspect of it. Like, how did you make that transition from like sports and stuff? Like, has it been hard? Like, what did you kind of have to like overcome and stuff?
Probably just being not as competitive and judging myself based off of social media. Because like sports and stuff, I'd always be very competitive. I wanted to be the best. I still want to be the best. But it's you gotta kind of put yourself in place and check and realize that it takes time.
And it
so
is
that-
a competitive field, like
very, yeah.
because everyone's trying to do it now too, and like
Literally everybody and their mother.
and
So-
like we said with the whole like a lot of people or some people are buying stuff and just getting it sent to them, putting their label on it. Like it probably is a little bit like, okay, come on, like I'm trying to do this from start to
It is
finish, and you're just
it's frustrating sometimes. See something like a brand that's not a brand like blow up. I'm like, God, well.
Literally.
But it's also very short and sweet. Where mine is, I'm looking more at the long term gain.
Absolutely.
So it's like trying to build something around something where they're just kind of hoping it blows up from TikTok.
And what does your closet look like? What's your style and everything?
Very overwhelming is what
Okay.
it looks like. It's a lot of vintage tees and sweaters.
Okay.
It's I got my lights on my left, my rights on my darks on
Okay.
my right. I have probably over 300 shirts in my closet.
300 shirts.
Easily. Like I wouldn't even question it.
Wow.
I find a
Good
new shirt
for you.
every day,
I don't
which is
even know
kinda cool.
how I would have room for that. Good for you.
I don't. They're all stacked on each other, but it's all just vintage shirts, couple, like jeans, casual stuff, but it's all vintage stuff.
So you'd be the place that your friends would want to pre-app before so they could steal a shirt and go.
Most likely, yeah. Most
So
likely.
more so shirts you would say than pants or your collectibles?
Yeah, definitely shirts, pants, very no. It's like black ripped jeans. I can't wear them right now. Black ripped jeans, like blue jeans, sweatpants. That's about it.
And is that what you kind of aim towards, that you design more and stuff too?
I actually like a lot of shorts. I like I love summer
Yeah, I
wear.
saw your shorts.
Yeah, the shorts are really cool. I love spicing up like colors when it comes to shorts. So like a basic like vintage shirt with like a nice colored short, it's good to go. Vintage hat,
Yeah.
your set, and nice jewelry. The only thing I spend money on is like accessories. I like.
Do you do any accessories?
No, one day I will, but I want it to be like high quality, and it
Okay.
takes a long time.
And you said you spend your money on jewelry. Do you have anything that's like
No, I would.
design or anything?
All my necklaces are basically designer,
Yeah.
and then I'd probably go like a few other things, but like I like accessories because I feel like you can wear like a basic white shirt, black jeans with a nice like gold chain, and you look good.
Absolutely, and so many I think guys don't really enjoy the whole accessory thing. Yes, they wear a nice watch and stuff, but
Yeah.
get into it. Like,
They don't wear a Rolex for style. Though. They
yeah,
do it for
no,
another
definitely
purpose.
not, definitely not.
But once you
Very-
start getting rings and stuff, then it's gotta come.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll ever go into the whole accessory?
I would love to. Yeah, eventually.
And is that a whole new world? Like, if you were to say, okay, I'm going to start now, is that like,
It's a
would you have
different
to
world.
find different, obviously different manufacturers, different places?
Yeah, different materials and sizing is impossible.
Okay.
So you gotta think like necklaces are a little bit easier, bracelets
Yeah.
maybe a little bit, but like rings and stuff, you gotta think of all the finger. I don't even know my own ring size.
Yeah,
So it's all over.
it's definitely different from females to males, but like, I don't know, even know what the range would be for men's.
I honestly have no idea.
Yeah,
Like,
even,
no idea.
but I guess necklaces would be
Necklace
the
is
same.
kind of easy.
So if you
Goes
start
one
there
neck.
and
That's what I
then
was thinking,
travel
it's like a
down.
little gateway.
I feel like maybe necklaces.
Anklets. eventually.
Anklets, yeah,
Right? Girls
uh-huh.
love those. So
Yeah, for sure. And your shorts, I was just thinking of this because it came into my head, your shorts, whatever, they're very California too. Like they're very LA street style. So that kind of definitely makes sense. So maybe your trip out there should get some more inspo for jewelry that they can wear with the shorts.
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
That was smart.
Do you ever like collaborate with people too?
Not too
Or has
much
anybody
yet.
reached out to you for
I've
like,
done,
if you
like-
send me anything?
I've done like, yeah, I guess like that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but I try not to, like I said. And then as for like brands and stuff, I help out design, like if a new club will come into town, sometimes I'll do like their merch or I'll help them design like what the girls should be wearing, what the guys should be wearing, that kind of stuff. Like I'll do side like ghost, I guess you want to call it, design jobs,
Yeah.
which I really love doing. I'm trying to work on some projects for some like sports teams and stuff like that. So I'm trying to keep it like under the radar a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm hopefully in the summer I have a little opening somewhere that I'm hoping to hop on. And
Do you
also,
like,
I just love design. Like I just love doing it. It's
Yeah.
my little gate.
Is
so
it
it's,
like-
we'll see what happens.
your meditation basically? Like, do you find it meditating to just sit down and do your drawings and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. And like I love, if I could, I'd be an architect as well. Like I just love
Okay.
interior design. I love seeing that kind of
So
that
you
stuff.
can draw. How good's your drawing? How did you
Terrible.
learn how to like even make it look
You
like
know
an
what?
actual
I've
shirt?
gotten a lot
Yeah.
better, but
Uh-huh.
the first drawings were like really bad. Like you
Uh-huh.
like, there's no way that's you that did that.
Yeah.
But as long as I know what it is, it's fine.
Exactly. So then, do you have to send that to like the manufacturer and stuff? Like,
I
how
usually
would
clean
they?
it up a little bit. Like I may take extra time. I'll do like 3 or 4 rounds of it. The best one, I'll kind of send photos, and then I'll make a little like pages thing and notes. That's why I'm trying to do Procreate because you can actually draw on it. And, like, do that kind of stuff.
Do you have an iPad that you use that, or is
I
it all
just got,
sketches?
I literally just got. Right now, I just do sketches,
Okay.
but I do have an iPad for it.
So you're trying to transition into that.
I'm trying to be old school into the new technology.
Do you use like croquis and stuff? Do you know what
No.
that is? Like the body shapes that you do whatever.
I
Okay, you
don't.
should try that.
I know.
Because when I was learning in school, it had to be like we had these figures and stuff, and then you had to make like your own, because obviously copyright and all that stuff
Yeah.
with these figures. But I'd just literally take a picture of myself in like tight clothing, and then would just like trace
Yeah.
it, and then do it on top of that, and that's what worked for me. But it's so hard. Like I'd see a hand that I draw, and I was like, that is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
My
And
foot.
it's discouraging. I was like, okay, so it's funny that you're even learning yourself, because it's all you can do is just get better as you go.
Yeah,
But-
hopefully.
And then the people, do they ever ask you like, okay, you need to clean up this, or like, what did you mean by this, or how did you?
I'm very descriptive. Like, they probably get very annoyed by me because, like I said, OCD.
Yeah.
I'm very.
I feel like it's a
on
good
them.
thing for fashion though. You need to be
It
the perfectionist.
is. I don't know. I like to think it is, but then sometimes I get something that I like everyone loves, and I'm like, this is a piece of crap. And
Oh,
then
really?
and then I wear it for a few times, and I'm like, wow, I love it. Like the shorts, like, when I first came in, I absolutely hated them.
Why?
And then
What'd you hate about them?
Something was literally like a millimeter off. Like it was
Okay.
like the string wasn't long enough.
So you're that much of a perfectionist?
Yes. Like
Okay.
it drives me nuts.
Would you like, if you got all them in and you're like, nope, can't sell them, throw them out?
I can't throw them out
Yeah,
because
you
of the money.
can't.
But
And people would probably want them.
They do, trust me. Like that's what I mean. Then once people start wearing them, and I see other people, I'm like, wow, those are hot. And then I kind of get into it, and I'm like, okay, these are actually sick. No
Do you
wonder I made them.
do you get them to like tag you in your stuff, or do you like ask for that to see pictures of them in them and how they're wearing it, or?
That's probably my biggest downfall. Is I'm the nicest guy in the world. I never ask people for anything.
Okay.
One quote I'm trying to work on is a closed mouth doesn't get fed, which I guess is
Okay.
very true.
I haven't even heard that one before. That's a good
Somebody
quote.
told to me at Louboutin once, like a customer. I was like,
Okay.
that makes a lot of sense.
That does.
I have, like I said, some pretty big people wear my stuff, and they've never asked them to post it. I know they wear it. They never did post, nothing. And I'm not the type of guy to bug them to it. Whereas, like, I kind of need to have that business mindset. And do it.
And I feel like they probably get asked to do that all the time too by other people. So,
That's
and
what
even
I
if they say no, what's the
That's
harm in
what I mean.
asking?
I'm so scared
right?
of no's for some reason. Like, I just get it. Like, I want to be their friend still, because all these people want to be friends with them. I don't want to kind of break that barrier.
I feel like it's a fine line too between like poking and being like, hey, you know, can you?
Where's my post?
Yeah, when they probably don't think of it at all as that, but
Yeah.
I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But don't just ask
I
them
know.
for it.
I know some successful people, and they're like, man, you just gotta ask. Like, worst case, they say no. They don't care.
Literally.
They're used to it. I'm like,
And they already have it. They'll wear
I'm
it
not.
still.
Yeah, they still do.
So would you name drop anyone that's worn your stuff? That's
I'd probably say one of the coolest people is Patrick Mahomes, like the NFL
Okay.
quarterback, just because I'm
Yeah.
a big fan of him stuff. And I love his, but he didn't do anything. I got my buddy Danny Green. He's actually coming back into town, I think, soon.
Okay.
But yeah, a bunch of athletes, some of the Leafs, and then some NFL players recently. So that's good. Yeah, I just introduced myself. Like I literally like DM. Like it feels like a thoughtie. I just like DM.
But
They don't
that's the
answer,
only way to do
unsend.
it.
And
Literally. The unsend is
the best feature ever.
best and worst, because I'll be like, crap, I missed whatever someone said. Who said it? When did they say it? What did they say? Like it's. You wake up one day and you're like, oh no, like what did someone say? I wish I was up for that.
Yeah,
but
I know. Sometimes
it
you want
helps
to see,
in the
sometimes you
opposite
don't.
way. Yeah.
Exactly.
And thank God there is that. But there's so much on social media now. Like I think you can even mute people or do those random things. So the fact that they even thought of unsending messages and stuff, they probably had like a lot of people being like, okay, please, I need to unsend this.
Exactly.
Like get this out of here. But yeah, that is, and those are some great people, all sports.
Yeah.
So you really do love
love sports.
those sports worlds.
And definitely some like DJs too, like the chain smokers and stuff
Okay,
like that.
wow.
So like I try to get into like the music industry as well. I'm really pushing for music now, just because like DJs are kind of a big. I love music. I love music.
Who
everywhere I
doesn't,
go.
really?
So it's kind of a cool market to get into, and then we'll just kind of see how it goes. But yeah, NFL players, they actually replied to me. NBA players, like the Timberwolves came to town. I went to their hotel, dropped off some clothes for a couple guys.
Wow.
Well, actually, just one guy this time. And then so it kind of works out.
Good for you. So just that's your tip. DM them.
Network.
Networking is key, and it's at our fingertips. Like, why wouldn't we?
Yeah, it's literally at our
And
fingertips.
that's even like for me too. Like when you were saying that, it kind of reminded me like when I'm asking, even reaching out to brands. Like I've just for so long I was like, I feel weird if they should ask me. You know, like I don't want to ask them, but it is
playing
like
hard to get. But then
real,
they're never gonna find me.
It doesn't ever get with anything playing hard to get. So
exactly.
might as well just shoot the DM. So you're saying, so now that I know that you don't love using, you know, social media, but you're gonna get into it. We're getting there.
Yeah.
What do you think's your first like step? Asking
Probably
more,
that.
reaching out to more people, or what?
Probably
TikTok?
reaching out to more people. Definitely TikTok's definitely the way I'm gonna kind of gear my links towards. I've always been told to do it. I've just never done it. Even if it's just like inspo, like outfits of the day kind of stuff.
Literally.
Just to get into the whole fashion.
Yeah.
Like, fashion
Create your
talk kind of
niche,
thing.
have people follow you.
Exactly, and have people like kind of care about my story. Right. So probably just geared towards that. Continue to network. Like I said, my biggest downfall is the nicest guy ever, but my best feature is probably my networking ability. I'm very social. I can meet anybody. Like I met them for the first, like I'm best friends with them right away. So I guess the nice thing kind of helps, but it also kind of hurts me at the same time.
Yeah. And what's the best kind of advice that you were given in the industry?
I don't really honestly got advice. Like I'll be honest. Like honestly just keep going but that's just
Yeah.
life though. That's just
It
in
is
general
life.
life. So I wouldn't say like any fashion. I'm kind of like I said, one man team, and like in Toronto, there's not many fashion like people around. So it's kind of just doing my own thing, but just got to keep going. I found like back in the day in hockey and stuff, like I kind of gave up on it. I didn't take it very seriously as I could have. So I'm like, I really regret. That's probably my biggest regret in life is not trying hard enough. Because I was decent. Definitely could have done better and been better. Whereas like this, I'm not going to do that this time. This is like my go-to thing. That's all I got.
Yes. What was your position that you played in hockey?
I was a goalie. Actually.
You're a goalie.
Everyone thinks we are a little bit odd usually.
Okay.
I try not to be, but
isn't that like what the stereotype is it on there? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I wouldn't guess you were a goalie.
Thank you.
But
So that's actually a compliment. That's perfect. Yeah.
But that's crazy that you went from being a goalie to
A normal person.
doing this. Okay, not a normal person. To doing this huge, like big fashion brand. Like I saw your stuff and I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is so creative. So I was taken back by it. I'm like, wow, like he's coming on my podcast because you don't see people like you every day doing like so creative designs and vintage and like. I didn't even think that you were in Toronto. I was like, there's no way that he's living here because you don't see that every day, especially in Toronto.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow, you're going to go far. You definitely will and use that social media thing to kind of get going. But I know we're kind of running over time here. So do you have any tips and pointers for anyone that's kind of wanting to start a fashion brand of what you could say to them?
Honestly, just do what I did and just kind of take it in your own hands and do it. Don't be afraid to fail. I failed many times at the beginning. My first order was my biggest mistake. I ordered too much of a product. We spent way too much money. Just put myself. A lot of people do that because they get excited and think they're gonna sell out right away.
Yeah,
like,
I feel like that's normal.
Like I have all these connections. Everyone knows me for fashion. I'm like, I'm gonna make a fashion brand. A millionaire. This is easy. This is
right
easy.
away. It's gonna take
Should've done
just
this a while
one.
ago.
Yeah, I should buy more.
Exactly. Yeah. So it just didn't work like that. So you always be ready for stuff. There is a lot of like unforeseen things that will happen. Like my manufacturer. Different shipping charges that you're not aware of that happen out of nowhere. So you got to put all these prices in. It definitely costs a lot of money. You can kind of build up, but like samples, very expensive if you want to get proper ones.
I heard that.
Yeah, it's just kind of figure it out, but you're gonna have to adapt very quickly. That's like I've had to, even especially during COVID and stuff. Like I had to get a new manufacturer. I had to get different fabrics ordered. So as everything new, I had to get new packaging. So I upgraded my packaging. So I was like, let's take the opportunity to get new packaging. I upgraded my labels, everything. So I just I'm trying to like step my game up a little bit. It was already pretty good, but now I'm trying to like elevate it a little bit more. But I wasn't ready for that. So
and I feel like packaging and stuff is such a big thing too, because when someone gets it and they see like
especially for social media too, right?
Yeah,
it just looks better
for people to post and stuff.
Yeah,
because you're gonna get in that, so might as well spend the money now.
You know, and the packaging's actually pretty decent now, so I'm very happy with it.
Okay.
Nothing crazy, no doves are flying out or anything like that.
Roses just popping
out. I know. I wish. I see those like PR packages. I'm like, that's crazy. These things are nuts.
Literally, and it's like, how much money did you spend on this package?
Yeah.
For giving me one shirt. Like, okay, well, you feel special too when you're opening something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, that was great advice. So thank you. Thank you, Devin, for coming on my podcast with me and sharing a little bit about you. So I hope everyone took something from this episode. And thank you so much for coming. If anyone has any questions or topics they want to hear about, please follow and write in to The Good, The Bad, and The Future on Instagram. And see you next Wednesday.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.